The Saints have a new quarterback, maybe a new starting quarterback. Tyler Shough was drafted with the 40th overall pick. Kind of the headliner of the draft immediately
No
if you
question.
take a quarterback that high. What does it mean for the future of the Saints?
Can't wait to find out. That we got some words from Derek Carr's brother, David, a little bit from Derek, and the Saints have yet to give any final. I mean, I just hope we're not going through this whole offseason like he's rehabbing, he might come back. I want to know. I want to know if Derek Carr is the quarterback and they're developing Shough this year, or if we are going into OTAs, minicamp as competition, Shough versus Rattler. And that's my guess, but I mean, it's such a weird situation that we don't know for sure. But let's assume that Derek Carr either is not on the Saints or has surgery. In either scenario, it's Shough versus Rattler. I think they will treat it, at least in these summer months, as an open competition, as a your day, kind of like what we saw with Rattler and Haener last year for the backup job. But Shuck's got to be the guy to beat, being picked 40th, right? I mean, this is essentially a first-round pick, almost a first-round pick. It's the highest the Saints have taken a quarterback in over 50 years. Even though we didn't see him on draft rankings that high early in the process, your reporting, national reporting, started to catch up later that he was seen no different than how the Giants see Jackson Dart or whatever. I think he should be looked at the exact same way. This is a guy to beat, I think.
Let's start. Like the draft ranking thing is so funny to me when it's like, if it's a player people want, it's like, well, that's a pick. They got a great value on him. If it's a player they don't want, it's a reach. But like, if it's the quarterback people think is going third and he goes 141 picks later, doesn't that tell you that the draft rankings are kind of like,
you know who else does
mean?
Draft rankings?
You know what I mean?
Jeff Ireland and the Saints scouting department that like has been going to these colleges.
So like that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Look, if it's the right pick, it's the right pick. If it's the wrong pick, it's the wrong pick. Everything's going to be judged on its own merit. If you drafted the 9th guy in the 9th spot and he doesn't hit, it's the same type of a miss as if you draft. It doesn't matter. You could draft someone that people think are lower on, and you end up being right. The thing with the quarterback stuff is nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. Everybody's wrong all the time. Once in a while, people are right, and you're just hoping that if you're a team picking, you hope you're right. The easiest and smartest thing to do in the world, doesn't matter what pick it is, but especially when it's outside of the first round, is say this guy isn't going to make it, because they don't make it. They literally do not make it. There's Jalen Hurts and a bunch of Aiden O'Connells. Like, really, that's what it ends up being. So if you're gonna make a bet against it, because it probably won't work. Odds tell you, history tells you, but every now and then there's an outlier, and you're hoping that Kellen Moore has the ability to identify one of those outliers, and he ends up being the guy who's right. Me personally, I would have bypassed on this whole entire quarterback class. Wasn't a single one of them that I would have wanted to place my bet on. I would have bet on Cam Ward if I had the number 1 pick, but trading up for it, like, I don't know that I'm betting my franchise on him in that regard. So I would have bypassed on all of them. But I think if you actually sit down and you just watch this player play, there are things to say like, okay, that makes sense to bet on it. Like, it's not an outrageous bet. I think the 10% of it that's bad could end up being what defines the whole 100. So I think he has to figure out how to play better under pressure. I think he has to figure out how to stand in the pocket and not be afraid of taking a hit. There's times when you watch him, and this might be an incredibly lazy and unfair statement, but there are times when you watch him, when you have the knowledge of 2 broken clavicles and a broken leg, that you see him react to things, and you see the 2 broken clavicles in the broken leg, and you wonder, is this like a reaction to that? It's totally possible, though, that they told him, hey, protect yourself, don't get hit, throw the ball away. But there were 31 throwaways last year, almost 8% of his throws, 26 of them are under pressure. Like, that isn't necessarily what you want to see, but like the stuff that bothered me more would be like a throw down the field. And, I think the thing, if you ask me, what does Spencer Rattler do that's great? His number 1 trait, what's his best thing? I would say it's his willingness to stand in a pocket with kind of like his body fully like stretched, like hits a throw, it just stands there and is willing to like go through it and just take the whole hit. Like, I think that is the thing Rattler does better than a lot of people I've seen, is just like that fearlessness to just fully be like extended and exposed to a hit and just standing there and take it and know he's going to take it and still execute the throw. Like, sometimes you'll see, and look, there's times Shough does that, but there's times where you see him throw the ball and kind of turn his back, like instead of like falling, and then it's short armed and it gets picked off. And like, these are the things that I think you need to see him do a whole lot better. But man, there's stuff that's really good. Like he has a really, really good arm. And I think the arm in and of itself gives you a chance to start games at some point during your career. Someone's going to say, okay, this guy needs to start a game. Let's see what he can do. I think that's really good. I think that he has pretty good accuracy. When you go back to his previous stops, like they didn't have design runs and have him run the ball a lot at Louisville. When you add that in, like, man, there's some really, really good stuff there. Again, my bet would have been on next year's class. Yeah. And I'm not going to say that every time we talk about him going forward. Like from this point on, if you want to try to act like we're saying something we aren't or whatever, like it's the dumbest thing in the world that the team drafts a quarterback and you have to like, oh, I got to preface everything because like Twitter, like screw all that. Like, no, like I think there's stuff that he does good and I think he has a chance and I don't think it's an insane bet. But I think when you're picking a quarterback 40th, well, I think when you're picking a quarterback 20th or beyond, the odds of him hitting are very, very slim.
Yep.
You just hope that Kellen Moore and Nussmeier see something everybody else doesn't.
Well, because of everything you said, and I agree. I mean, look, I think the Saints were genuinely convinced on this guy. This is an organization that has proven to us that they don't throw these picks. They're willing to pass on this class. They are not the Green Bay Packers under Ted Thompson, who's like, we do this every year, or even the Patriots during some of the Tom Brady years. I think this guy broke through for them. But yeah, the history of it says, we were talking about this the other day. I wrote an article that lists every second round pick of the century. This is a rare thing, a second-round pick. Either you're convinced on a guy and you take him in round 1, or he falls to round 5 and 6. Very few guys actually get drafted in round 2.
Let's talk about that a little bit, though. Yeah. Like, I think A, it's a weak class, and B, there just weren't a lot of spots for him, and then C, Shough was just falling. Like, I just don't think there were a lot of spots for quarterbacks this year. Pittsburgh clearly has Rodgers in the talk, so they're off the board. The Giants went for Dart, so it was kind of Cleveland or the Saints. Cleveland didn't seem, to feel that Shough was the guy for them. The Saints didn't feel like Shough was the guy for them. So then it's just kind of, you're waiting to get him. I think when LA dropped out of 26, like that made it very, very likely that Shough was going to be there at 40. The danger was LA trading up for him. They were a team that wanted him. I just don't think they wanted him bad enough to take him in the first round. They drop out of the first round. I think you're in a very good position to get him where you want him. Then you can kind of play it that way, especially once the Giants jumped up to take Dart. I think that kind of cleared it out, and it's like, all right, then Atlanta makes that insane trade, so you're not the value of the back half of the first round. I think really gets put there. But look, I like that they liked him. He's on the team now. I like that they liked him. I like that they had conviction in him. I like that they saw someone that they feel like can be their obviously their starting quarterback. You don't pick someone there if you don't think that. Kellen Moore likes him. He went through the process. He thinks this is the guy. There are a lot of ways it could work. There's a lot of ways it couldn't. I think moving forward, though, like the shock and awe of it and that, like, man, that's so uninteresting to me. Like, it's how does this work now? I think that's what the conversation has to be. And I think clearly you got to protect them. I think they have a pretty solid group of players now up front, probably more investment than most teams. If Kelvin Banks doesn't elevate your line, that's the big issue here. Kidding. Like that's a massive issue then. I think you have a way to get Penning on the field. I think if you could kind of protect him in the way that Goff gets protected or the way Kirk Cousins gets protected, those seasons where it's right, those guys can really shine. I think that's kind of similar to this individual. If you can do that, I think he can kind of do a lot for you. He's good outside of the pocket. Like, he can move. He does have athleticism. He can throw off platform. He can move on, throw while running. It's one of the things where it's kind of like, damn, like how are you able to do that? But then like some of these plays, you're afraid. Like, so I think if you could find a way to just even get it to the middle, like, I don't even think you got to like fix it. Just get that somewhere in the middle. I think there's a way to be good with him at that position. There's just a lot that he commands the line of scrimmage. He's a quarterback in college that you see running play action. Like, you could go through some guys' entire season and not find a snap where they're under center.
Yeah, so, it was a good move for him to go to Louisville last year. Like, we talk about the transfers that he made. Oregon for 3 years, then Texas Tech for 3 years, thinking he was probably going to go there for 1 year and get drafted. And it's funny, he probably strategically picked Texas Tech because I mean, at the time, that was a positive. They throw the ball all over the field, but then he had the injuries there, and then he picked Louisville. He's like, I want to get drafted. I want to go play in a pro-style system that shows what a quarterback does in the NFL and make those checks at the line of scrimmage. So it was a really smart offense for him to seek out and then to actually show this is what I could look like in the pros. So even though we talk about, what college football is like nowadays and how people leave all the time and try to find a better situation, he was doing it for a very specific reason. I think that worked out for him really well.
Yeah, and I think he can run a whole lot more than he did last year. There's an interview he did with McShay at the Combine where he was kind of talking about how they just told him, don't do it. But, if you go back to his previous stops, you see a lot of it. You do have to wonder, though, is that an injury thing? Is it?
Well, that's what Jeff Brom said when we talked to him during the draft is that partly they didn't want him to run the ball because that's how he was getting hurt at Texas Tech, was running the ball. And it was not the kind of injuries – nobody's worried about the injuries now. It was a broken collarbone that he never had surgery on, so it rebroke, and then it was a broken leg when he got rolled over. Broken bones heal, and they're not like, oh, he's got this leg that breaks all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, but that did happen when he was running the ball more at Texas Tech.
He said that he kind of learned to just get the first down and stop at that point, do it like that. Oregon had a lot of designed runs, though, and I know, Kellen likes the RPO stuff. I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
If he runs with kind of that, maturity and intelligence to hey, look, I don't want to get hurt. I think it's a good thing. He was saying in that interview, he kind of played with the play style where it was I'm going to run over these linebackers and I'm going to get the crowd going and I'm going to get the sideline going. And he's like, I just realized I was really dumb. It's a dumb way to play. And, I think Jackson Dart's someone that needs to figure out how to rein that in a little bit too. But I would rather have a guy that's doing it and I got to pull it in a little bit and get to that place. So hopefully Shough can just get it back and play with that style and they add it in. If you tell me he can run the ball, we got a clip on our website in the film study article. It's a 5-minute clip of him just these runs he has. If you tell me you can add that to what he's doing, the math becomes a little bit different for me. I like that math better than just the playing from the pocket, kind of going side to side. If you're telling me that he can this is a dual 4.6 speed. That is legitimate speed, especially at that position. But even without it, I think if you can just do it a little bit, it changes the way people can defend you. Because what they do is if they don't trust your legs at all, every single snap, you're going to go out there, you're going to see 2 guys sitting deep. No one's coming down to respect the legs. They're going to zone you. If you can't do anything to just take advantage, that's what Rattler would do is all right, they're sitting back deep. I got this. I'm going. If you can do that, it changes the way people defend against you. It takes away, kind of that suffocation. And now all of a sudden you're hitting a play action or something. You get them caught with one safety back there and you got an explosive play. Your quarterback in 2025 has to do something to get that other safety to move. I think he can do it. So I think that's a benefit. It's these bad plays, man. That's it. And I think the thing that hurts for him is when he makes a bad play, it's almost comically bad at times. And that's what he has to get rid of. He's got to get rid of some of that stuff. But I think he has a chance. And look, I don't care if this was a quarterback you were betting on, I was betting on, someone else was betting on. I don't care that I wanted to look to next year. I don't care what anybody wanted to do. All of a sudden, get past the shock and awe of it. He's on the team. Get past your own evaluation. He's on the team. All of a sudden, you have a guy that was a great college quarterback, was a quarterback's coach, was a very good offensive coordinator, is now a head coach. He went and picked his quarterback. That quarterback is here with significant draft capital. You're starting an offense from zero scratch. It is incredibly interesting now. This is an interesting storyline. I could ask for a recasting, but man, the script is this is way better than old ass dude gets brought in, try to make it work, let it go. Oh, they traded for Sam Howell. He's going to start. He's going to suck. Let it go. This is start from scratch, ground zero offense built around former great college quarterbacks, handpicked quarterback. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about perception. And I was starting to make this point with how rare it is for a quarterback to be drafted in the second round. And it's happened less than once a year over the last like 16, 17 years. Some of the successes are Derek Carr and Andy Dalton, funny enough. Jalen Hurts obviously being the best one. But it's one of those weird things that if they had traded up to get him in round one, then I'd be super skeptical. I'd be like, man, now you put so much into this guy. But it's the exact opposite. If they had gotten him in like round 3 or 4, where they've been drafting Garrett Grayson and Jake Haener and Ian Book, then you'd be really excited. You'd be like, oh, this guy seems way better than those other third rounders. He's in this weird limbo of did he deserve to be picked? Well, look, if you would have liked the pick at 71, then embrace it at 40. Like 40 is not setting your franchise back. Like, yes, of course, there's some really good players drafted around 40 that I wanted the Saints to take, that I know a lot of fans watching the draft want him to take. But that is worth taking a shot on a guy if you really believe him. Like, if everyone watching this from the outside had the same conviction that Kellen Moore has on this guy, they would have run to take him at 40. That is not too much to pay for a guy you believe has a chance at this. So do I bet on him succeeding? Like I said, I think the best case scenario is maybe they find their version of Derek Carr for the Raiders, Andy Dalton for the Bengals, but he could be better than that too. Could be better than that too.
Look, here's the thing. You should short every single quarterback that comes into the NFL.
Yeah.
If there was a way to short their stock and
even
make
the
money
guys
off
picked
it.
in round
all of them, every single one. The first pick to pick 253 or whatever the hell it is every year now. Just say no, and they're all like 90% of them are going to miss. Yeah, and really, even the guys in the first round, it's a 50-50 proposition. So like, you add that in with the rest. Most of the time, you're going to be right. And if you're a person that wants to be able to sit back and go, I told you so, those idiots, like you're going to be right most of the time. So. Like do it, and you can grandstand or whatever, and congratulations. Like you are going to be right most of the time, and that is the sound bet. And my bet's against because it should be against. That's just what math tells you. Like I can't bet against math, but there are things about him when you watch him. It's like I understand this. It's not a crazy bet. He could hit.
Quick question for you, since you've done the film studies. If you can even do this. If you can pretend like your mind wasn't warped by pre-draft analysis, pre-draft rankings, any of that stuff, and it's 2 different years, and this is a much worse draft class. Last year, Spencer Rattler was the 7th guy drafted. Spencer Rattler's college tape coming into the league, Tyler Shough's college tape coming into the league. Is this guy a way better prospect?
Yeah, look, man, like the thing is, the league the Saints just told you he is. I don't have to tell you that. They drafted him at 40. They drafted the other guy in the 5th round.
Yeah.
The Saints told you that. Like they're telling you that. That's what they believe. Look, the thing with Shough is if you could just take everything off, and he was 21 years old and didn't have all these injuries, and he just had the season he had, and you place all the 4 seasons just in a 4-season window. And you'd be like, man, NIL, some weird stuff happened, whatever. But like he put it together at the end, and he goes, he's a top 10 pick. Like the problem is that he's going to be 26 basically on opening day, and it's kind of hard to factor that in. You see the 7-year career. There's all this weird stuff that happened, and then the little things that are wrong. It's kind of hard to say like, well, he's definitely going to get better at this because he's already going to be 26. So you don't know what the development window is. It isn't. He's a young player. He's an older player at this point, where those flaws kind of feel like they're going to be a little bit stickier than maybe they would be with someone where you're like, well, man, like he gets some like good coaching, and this stuff's all going to turn around for him. But then it's also, I was sitting there wondering if I was like being a hypocrite about how I thought about that, because he's exactly 1 year older than Rattler.
Yeah.
And at no point have I looked at Rattler and I'm like, man, he's too old to get better. I know. So. I don't know, but I know this is their bet. There's a few, like, look, I'm okay swinging at 40 and missing if you believe in it. I'm okay swinging at 9 and missing if you believe in it. I know they believe in this. I've known they believed in it for a while. If people just listen, like, I feel like this is the loudest pick spoiling ever. Like, if people had just listened.
Told my 13-year-old son, man, who is Tyler Shough? And I go, if you read what Dad writes or watched our shows, you would have known for a month.
It was like left the combine and it was like, oh, the Shough dude, huh? Like that was it. Like this is the guy they're gonna pick. And then it was kind of like, wait a minute, like I don't think Shedeur is a real prospect for them. Like, so like that was just kind of it. And it was very loud, and Like we could have, I don't know. I really believe they were going to pick him, and then they did. Like everything we had heard, everything we said. Anyways, though, but if you believe in it, I'm cool with it. You miss at 40, fine, whatever. Like it's a bad like you don't want to miss on anyone. Don't want it's an opportunity lost, but. If they're just randomly making a pick at 40 and they don't believe in it, that's where I have a problem with it. It's like, we believe in this guy, I got it wrong. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then I understand your process. Logically, I can get there. Still could be. Then we just talk about, is the process bad and how do you change it and all that stuff. But look, it's a position where I think you have to try. You have to try to be a little bit of aggressive. I'm okay with it. If they miss on it, I just hope they admit a quick loss. Like if you get to December and you're like, there is no chance on this guy, just move on and then make the pick next year. Yeah. Take Little Nussmeier, take Archie, take Drew Aller, take Lenore Sellers, take Klubnik, like whoever it is. Klubnik might actually end up being the one that's at the top, kind of based on how people are talking about him right now. But whoever it is,
I like next year's class.
Yeah, whoever it is, just be ready to move on if you missed.
Arch might be 2 years from now, which might work out perfect.
Yeah,
and that would be the time when for sure you missed.
And every indication we got is that they really believe this guy can be the guy, but if he's not, just cut your losses.
Extra home run, grand slam. If you find the guy at 40, and that's all the draft capital you had to use on it, it's like almost more worth taking a chance on finding a guy that you only had. I mean, that would be like stealing from the NFL if you find a quarterback in the second round. Yeah. See the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, just hit it, and be ready to move on if you don't. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like I just don't want them to see. And look, that's the thing about picking at 40. Like I don't think you should get sunk into that if it's a wrong guy. But like
you can move on from that.
Yeah, at this point, I just want to talk about how it can work, and that's how we're gonna do it. Like it is so interesting to me. Like I don't care who the prospect is. It is just so interesting to me, like where they are right now. It's like I got excited thinking about it. Like, wow, they're gonna build an offense around the guy. Like this is start from scratch. See how the whole process goes. I'm excited to see how it plays out.